Welcome dear students for the SQL Relational Database Standard discussion. In the earlier discussions we have done the various commands which we are operating on the SQL table. That is the variations of commands in SQL statements, right? And in the very previous discussion we had stopped our introduction with the alter command, how to alter the contents of a table when once a table is created, right? So in today's session we shall take a few more things what we can do with the table which is already being created. Well, we had discussed with how to drop a particular column or a attribute which is being included in a table, right? In the alter command, how to drop a particular attribute. For example, this is a person table which is including ID, last name, first name, address, city, right? So whereas in the earlier part, we had included an new attribute that is with the date of birth, and that we had done like this alter table. This is a keyword and the table name is persons, and as we need to include a attribute, we had used the keyword add alter table that followed by the table name, then what is it, the add keyword, then what is the attribute name we have selected, date of birth, and that attribute belongs to which data type has to be mentioned following to that. Okay, so this is how we had included a attribute after creating a table. While creating a table we had included only ID, last name, first name and address, but now we included which one, the date of birth. So after using this command, we found the table, like on displaying the table, we found the information like this. As the date of birth was included later, no data is found in here, but we can add information to it. Okay, that we'll discuss next. So suppose if we want to modify the data type, for example, here the date of birth what we had discussed, it was given as date, right? Suppose if we want to change the date data type, then we can do that with the help of which one, the command like this alter table persons. Alter table is a very, I mean, the very common or basic command which we have to include to modify the attributes in a table. Alter table followed by the table name. Alter column, so column has to be modified, so that is what, again with the keyword alter column. Date of birth, that is for which attribute or column we are trying to do the change, that is for the date of birth attribute, and you are changing the date attribute to what, year. So alter table persons, alter column, date of birth, year. Did you all understand? So while including a new attribute we used add column. Here while modifying that column we are using alter column, date of birth, and what is that data type we are changing, date from uh, date to here we are changing. Okay, so this is with how to modify the things with the help of a alter command. Well, if we want to remove a particular attribute itself, for example, just now we included date of birth, now if we want to remove it permanently, then how to include or add that command? Just check out here, alter table, the very common standard command, alter table followed by the table name persons. Then instead of alter I am telling to remove, right? So drop column, drop column, what is the column name, date of birth we want to remove, so simply use drop column, date of birth, that's all, no need to mention the data type. Alter table persons, person is a table name, drop column, what is it, date of birth. So that is going to do the changes like this, and once you display the table persons, it will be displaying the result like this. Okay, okay students, I just now discussed how to drop or remove a particular attribute which is already there in a table, right? Suppose if we want to completely remove a table, if you completely want to delete a table means from the database, then you should use this particular syntax. Okay, drop table name. So what is this going to do? It is used to drop an existing table in a database. So whatever you have created, the table what you find in the database will be deleted permanently. So there are certain restrictions when you are dropping a table, when you are deleting a table, because be careful before dropping a table. Deleting a table will result in loss of complete information stored in the table. So if you are sure that the complete table which is filled with data has to be removed, or suppose if it is a table created with no data, if you want to remove, okay, if you should be aware of the content or the use of that table or the relation when you are deleting. Is that clear? Because employee is a table and department is a table. So, or relation, the alternative name. And we know that in the employee table, we will be having the department number information. Yes or no? And in the department table, we will be having something like the manager information, department manager, who is going to handle that department, manage that department. So manager information is kept with the help of which one? Employee SSN. Yes or no? So here SSN, employee SSN acts as a primary key. So if you are deleting a employee table, then the employee primary key, that is SSN, is acting as a foreign key in which particular table or relation in department. Similarly, if you want to delete department table, so department number is a primary key of department table, and department number is present in employee table, and it is acting as a foreign key. So you should be aware like whether the table which you have decided to delete, whether that table primary key is acting as a foreign key in any other table, you should be aware of that. In case if it is acting as a foreign key in any other table, so you should remove the foreign key, what uh, the relation from that table, and only then you can delete which one, the respective table. Is that clear? So these are certain things we should take care before we delete a table, and these complications can be understandable more better when we are implementing with the help of practical sessions. Okay, well, now we shall take up the concept of how to give a new name for a table which is already existing. SQL rename statement. Okay, so suppose if you want to change the name of the table what you have created, and that can be done with the help of which one, the statement like rename. With rename statement we can give a new name to a table. Okay, so the syntax is like this: rename the old table name to new table name. So already the table is recognized with what name? At present the table is recognized with what name? That name you should write in place of which one? Old table name. Okay, then to is a keyword. Following to that, what is a new name you want to give to that table? That you should mention here. So rename is a what? Keyword. Okay, so consider the example here. We have created an table with the name called as employees. Create table, this is a syntax to create a table, to create a new table. So create table, what is the name we have chosen? Employees. And which are the attributes or column we have chosen? ID with what data type? Number. And what is the size we have taken? 6. And name with varchar, and how many characters we have maximized the size to 20. So after executing this statement, we will be getting information. If there are no errors in the syntax, then it will be showing table created. Next, we should insert the information or records to this employee table. So what is that? Employee ID, employee name we should try to insert. Insert into employees within the parentheses, which are the two information? ID comma name. Okay, so here no need to specify ID comma name. Directly you can write like this: insert into employees. You can skip this parenthesis information ID name, because as it is a new table, now we are trying to insert all the data to the table. I mean, whatever the column we have created, we are trying to fill the information. So, no need to specify for which column or for how many columns you are trying to insert. You can directly write like this: insert into employees values within parentheses. ID number should be given first. So, 1, as it is a number, no need to embed that within a single quote. Then, following to that, what is the name you are giving? Name 1, like that. Okay, so any person name you can add over here. So as it is a varchar, you are supposed to embed within the double quotes. Then like that we are inserting two more values like this. So insert into employees values 2 comma name 2, insert into employees values 3 comma name 3. So the way what I have shown in the slide, even this is a proper format, or else we can skip this parenthesis information and directly use what? Insert into employees values. Okay, so we have created the table, we have inserted the values. Now, how to display the information? Select asterisk symbol from employees. So now only two columns were created. So ID and name will be displayed, two column information, 1, 2, 3, name 1, name 2, name 3. This is the data that is what got displayed. Now the thing is, we are supposed to change the name of this particular table, employees. So just check out here how to change the name of the employees. Rename. We can use which one? Rename keyword. Okay. So rename, what is the syntax we just now found? Rename old table name to new table name. Okay. So this is what we are finding. Rename table employees to employees underscore new. So this is what the implementation. Rename table. What is the old table name? Employees, right? See here. So what is the new name we have chosen? Employees underscore new. So rename table employees to employees new. So now onwards, employee is completely replaced by which new name? Employees underscore new. And when you are using this command, select star from employees underscore new, you will be getting this data displayed. See the above data and this is similar, right? It means what? We have changed the name of employees to employees underscore new. So from now onwards, if you try to display simply employees, select star from employees, it tells it doesn't exist because it is being, the name itself is being changed to a new name. Okay. Well, now we shall understand the SQL constraints. Okay, in the theoretical discussions, I have told you many times what is a constraint. So we are supposed to set certain rules for whatever the attribute we are creating, like whatever the column that exists in a table, each column should carry what type of, or each column should hold what type of value. That rules or the constraints has to be added. Okay, so what is SQL constraints? It is a set of rules implemented on tables in relational databases to dictate what data can be inserted, how it has to be updated or deleted in its tables, and this is done to ensure the accuracy and the reliability of information stored in the table. It means what? When we have created a table, for example, just now I discussed create table employees. So there we told ID and which one? The name, right? So you are telling with the help of a data type that ID has to hold what type of data? Number kind of data. Name should be of which type? Character. Where varchar means what? It is um, alphanumeric, like that. So name should be of character type. Then what are the rules we can, some more additional rules what can be attached? We can attach that employee ID and name should not be null. Always it should not be left blank. Okay, and we can also specify the ID what we are adding to our employee. It should not be repeated. So the ID value should be what? Unique. And how all these rules can be added to a table? It is done with the help of a SQL constraints. Okay, so these are constraints, these are set of rules which are implemented on a table, which is created or which is saved in the relational database to tell what can be inserted, what type of data can be inserted, how it has to be changed or updated, or how it has to be deleted like this. So I just now, when in the discussion I told, if you are deleting a table, it is not so simple to simply drop existing table. Okay, so we should first think whether that table's primary key is acting as a foreign key, right? So you should see such constraints exist before you delete a table. Okay, so that is why we are telling what are the constraints while inserting the data, while updating the data, or while deleting the data in the tables. Okay, so and all this can be done. The restrictions or the rules can be attached with the help of which one? SQL constraint, and this is advantage to uh, make the records keep more accurate, so we can keep the data in a more consistent way, in a more valid information can be kept in a database. Okay, and constraints are the rules enforced on the data columns of a table. These are used to limit the type of data that can go into a table, and this ensures the accuracy and reliability of the data in the table. So suppose if it is a ID, employee ID, and as we have mentioned it as the number data type, and you have also told not null, or if you have attached as unique, or else if you have attached primary key. Okay, unique or primary key is what practically what the values what you are entering to that field should be a unique one, and it should not be null, it should not be left empty. Okay, so on a particular column, which is that column, employee ID is a column, so you are attaching the rules to a particular column, and you are trying to limit the type of data. For example, for employee ID you should enter the number type only, you can't give something like alphabetical information for ID. Okay, so that those are the what uh, uh, limitations you are attaching to a particular column. Okay, and what is the benefit of doing this? So by attaching these constraints we can see that the records can be filled with the proper data without any mistakes. Okay, constraints could be either on a column level or a table level. So we can add the restrictions or constraints to a table, I mean to the attribute. To each attribute or for each column we can add a constraint. Is that clear? So, or else at the attribute level also we can add the constraint, or to the table level also we can add, and we look that with certain examples. Okay, the column level constraints are applied only to one column, whereas table level constraints are applied to the whole data. So if you categorize the constraints what you are adding, it is for which one? Column level one, and another one is table level. So if it is column level, how much ever the attributes we find for a table, for any of the attribute you can attach the which one? Constraints. So if it is a table level means whatever the one particular constraint you are attaching, it will be for what? All the columns that are present in that particular table. So the at the table level what constraints we attach, it is what reflected to all the attributes, attributes in the sense to all the columns related to that particular table. Okay, now these are some of the commonly used constraints which are found in SQL. Which are those? The not null constraint, default constraint, unique constraint, primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, and check constraint. And normally we use all these constraints at the column level. Okay, so what is this not null? As the name itself tells, ensures that the column cannot have null value. It should not be left empty. The compulsorily you should fill certain data to that particular column. In case if that column value, for example, ID. Just now we created a table employees, right? Create table employees, open flower bracket, I mean not the flower parenthesis, the small parenthesis, create table employees followed by parenthesis ID number of 6, following to that you can tell not null. That is how you can add a constraint. It means what? ID should not be left. That column data has to be filled when the user is inserting the data to a table. Okay. Then default constraint. It provides a default value for a column when none is specified. So what does this means? For example, name. Okay, there was a column called as name. Employee, one was ID and another one was name. Suppose if we forget to enter the name there. Instead of, we somehow skipped the value or the information for the name, employee name. So in case if you had attached which constraint, default constraint. So what is that default? Default, you should also specify if suppose a value is missed to that column, what is the default value it should add? Called as name. Okay, or name one, something like this. So some default value we can fix over there. So suppose if the name is skipped, that particular what default name what we have given in the constraint, that name will be considered. Okay, so just check out here. Assume that here this is create table employees ID number followed by the size is 6. Do not put comma here. Following to that, if you add a constraint called as not null, okay, not null, then put a comma. It means what? ID should not be empty. Then name varchar 20. Following to that, here if I add default, what is the constraint? Default, and the default value is what? Name, name. That's all. Default followed by name. Okay, so what are what happens while inserting here? Insert into employees. If I have inserted one and name one, it is okay. The same values will be taken for ID and name. Suppose if I didn't enter for the second insertion, while inserting for the second time, if I had inserted only ID and I skipped which information, name of the employee. Okay, so what is the default value we have given? Simply name. So that will be considered, and when you display the information without any errors, what will happen? One followed by some name what you have given, that will be displayed. Two, let us assume that you had missed giving the employee name, inserting the employee name. So there only NAME will be shown, and similarly the third one, ID will be displayed, and following to that, if you have given a proper employee name, that name will be displayed. Okay, then here you are having primary key. Okay, before primary key, unique constraint ensures that all values in a column are different. As I told you, ID should be what? Different to each particular row. For a ID column, for any number of records you are adding, all the records should carry what? A unique numbers. Then primary key uniquely identifies each row or record in a database table. So we know this, and we have discussed many a times during the entity relationship discussion, that any relation or any entity when we are creating, when you are adding the attributes, so there one of the attribute should be chosen as a key attribute. Okay, so what is that key attribute? Where always the key attribute values remains unique from the other attributes, where there will be no chance of repeating the repetition of data at any record. Okay, so the data what you are filling in each record will be what? Unique. Uniquely identifies each row or record in a database table. Then foreign key, what is this? Uniquely identifies a row or record in any of the given database table. So any key of a particular, any primary key of a particular table, if it is acting as a foreign key in any other table, then we call that particular attribute or the primary key which is acting as a foreign key in another table termed as what? Foreign key. Okay, then check constraint. So what is that check constraint? For example, uh, when we are trying to insert the class information, okay, so student class is a attribute, and let us assume that you are inserting the value for the class. So in our BCA program, we are having the class information first, second, and third. That is first year, second year, and third year. So in case if the user, if there is a chance that the user may try to enter 4 5 6, no, class means what? It is only first year, second year, and third year. Only three values are valid, not other values like 4 5, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year. It is not a valid one. So we can use which constraint? Check constraint. So the check constraint, with the help of this keyword or the constraint, we can check whether the users, whatever the value the user has given, whether that value is within the list of values. What is that list of values? We should provide what by default the user we should provide, um, like among list of values, which among what list of values the value has to be checked. So while adding this check constraint, you should give the list of values which are valid. That is first, second, and third. Are you all understanding? So check constraint, when I give 4, if I while inserting the values, if I give 4, so that 4 will be what? Checked with the list of values first, second, and third. And as it didn't find 4, it will be giving a error message that there is a improper invalid data what we are inserting. Are you all understanding? Or else very simple example is the attribute gender. Okay, if you are trying to insert the gender information, sex information, it should be of how many values? Either male or female. So the check constraint can be used to that particular uh, what column, where either you have to insert F for female or M for male. Suppose if you insert something like by mistake, if we insert something like X, so how to validate that? How to identify that error which is being done now? What by mistake, if any other value is entered while inserting, how to recognize those errors? It is done with the help of a check constraint. So if by mistake also if I enter X value, that X value is compared with which list of values? That is, with the check we will be including the list of values M and F. So among that values X will be compared, and as X is not found, there will be display of an error. Okay, so this is how we can manage or how we can attach the rule or constraints for a table attributes. Okay, so dropping constraint means like just now we saw some list of constraints. If you want to remove the constraint what are being added to a table, that is also can be done, and it is obviously done with the help of which one? Alter table command. So any constraint that you have defined can be dropped using the alter table command with the drop constraint option. So in case if you have added primary key, not null, unique, check constraint, if you want to remove that constraint, you can do that with the help of which command? Alter table. Okay, followed by the table name and what is the keyword? Drop constraint. Okay, so just check out one sample here. For example, to drop the primary key constraint in the employee table, you can use the following command. Okay, now I would like to tell one thing here is, I haven't discussed the example of how to attach the primary key constraint to a table. But before that, we are discussing which one, how to drop that particular constraint. Okay, so we'll be taking up that very next after this. So just check out the command here where we are removing the which type of constraint? Primary key constraint. Let us assume that the primary key is being attached. So what is that? Table name, alter table. What is the table name? Employees. Okay, alter table, the table name, employees. And what is the keyword? Drop constraint. Drop constraint. What is the constraint we want to remove? Which one we want to remove? Primary key, right? So drop constraint. So just check out here, employees underscore PK. So this is what the attribute name we have given in the which table, employee table, and we have considered or we have defined employees underscore PK as what? The primary key. Is that clear? So you are directly specifying the attribute or the column name here. So alter table, table name employees, drop constraint. So to which attribute the constraint is added, we are supposed to mention that particular attribute name, employees underscore PK. Okay. So let us find more things now. We have some other constraints called as integrity constraints. What are these? Integrity constraints are used or actually used to ensure the accuracy, correctness and the consistency of the data in a relational database. So for example, in the employee table, if you are telling that employee 1 is working in department number 5, in the employee table, if we are telling employee 1, the first employee, or let us take that employee name as Bharat. Okay, if Bharat, in his employee table information, in his database, if there have been mentioned that he is working in department number 5. So department number 5 should exist. That is what you mean by consistency. And department number 5 is what? Department number is a foreign key in the employee table. And if you find department number in the department table, you should recognize which data, department 5 there. If it is not found, then the data is not consistent. Okay. So data integrity is handled in a relational database through the concept of referential integrity. So how to have the integrity constraints attached in a table? It is achieved or it is handled in the relational database with the help of which one? Referential integrity. So there are many types of integrity constraints that play a role in referential integrity. These constraints include primary key, foreign key, unique constraints and many other constraints. So normally in the referential integrity, normally in this kind of integrity constraints, which are the commonly found constraints? One is primary key, one is foreign key, and other one is unique. Because observe here, all these are what? The constraints which highlights that the data should be or the value should be what? Unique from other records. Okay. So the referential integrity uh, constraints include which one? Primary key, foreign key and unique constraints. So let us first understand how about the primary key constraints in SQL. So the primary key constraint uniquely identifies each record in a table. So we know the importance of a primary key, that if whether you take a student roll number, whether you take a employee ID or SSN, it should be what? Unique, different to each other, and it should not be repeated. Okay. So the primary keys must contain unique values and it should not contain null value, and always a student should be given a roll number or a register number. The student should not be kept without allotting the roll number or register number. Student has to be assigned. Similarly, the employee SSN or the social security number, employee has to be allotted with SSN. Okay, it should not be left empty. So primary keys must always contain unique values and it should not contain any null value. A table can have only one primary key, and in the table this primary key can consist of a single or multiple column. So just check out here. If you take or when you create any table, a table should be given with only one primary key. I mean, if there are many columns in a table, only one column or only one attribute should be chosen as a primary key. Not more than one attribute can act as a primary key. Okay. So a table can have only how many number of primary key? Only one primary key, or only one attribute can act as a primary key, and this primary key can consist of a single or multiple column fields. So what is the meaning here is, suppose like we had discussed something like composite key and all, right? So composite key means what? In case if uh, in a table, if I mean two or three columns or attributes are recognized to be as a unique, okay, and if you have made it as a set, so to highlight such type of possibilities, there here they have mentioned the primary key can consist of single or what multiple columns, okay, fine. So the following SQL creates a primary key on the ID column when the person's table is created. So just check out the sample table here. Create table. What is the table name? Person. And how many attributes you are finding here? ID, last name, first name, and age. So ID is what the data type is of what? Integer data type. Last name is of which type? Varchar. First name varchar, and age of which type? Integer data type. So observe here, students. Create table. This is a syntax to create a table, to create new table. Create table persons, open parenthesis. What is the table name? The first attribute here, ID, person ID, and ID is acting as which, uh, I mean, you are recognizing it as what? Instead of number here, we are putting it as what? Int. Okay, so ID int, not null. See here, two constraints can be added. You can also include not null as well as primary key, or simply what? Primary key. Simply primary key is also proper. Why this is included? Because no, in by mistake also that ID attribute should not skip any value, it should not be empty. Okay, so ID of which data type? ID is a attribute name followed by what is the data type? Int, and followed by what is a constraint we are adding? Primary key, as well as not null. Two constraints together we can add, no issues. Okay, put a comma, define or I mean yes, explain which is the next attribute in that table. So last name of data type what? Varchar, and what is the size? 255. And here also you are adding a constraint that last name should not be null, not null. Put a comma, then first name varchar 255. So you can restrict the length here for varchar. So first name, it is not mandatory, even though first name is left empty, no issues, because we have not included any constraint like not null, but last name is mandatory. Okay, so after this, age is taken, and what? Integer value, int value. So int, it is no need to specify which one. The size, it takes the which one? Default bytes that is going to be reserved. Then close the parenthesis, that is the table definition is over, ended with a semicolon. Okay, so this is one sample where we are including or where we are defining one of the attribute as a primary key, as well as what? You are also attaching another constraint called as not null. Like that, any number of columns, any number of attributes in a table can be defined with certain constraints. Is that clear? So I hope you followed this example. So in the next class we shall discuss about which one? Foreign key constraint. Well students, when discussing these particular syntax and examples, kindly note down so that you can refer that during the practical implementation discussion. Thank you.